no matter what we are doing, you know, you, us, they, so things are going in the same way. So we need to recreate, relearn, you know, support each other, you know, honoring each other, and then we can do a beautiful work for Mother Earth, you know. I mean, I think and I believe that we need to keep our faith, our hope, our understanding, and deep understanding of what's going on right now. What is the best chance that we can have right now in order to transform, in order to change, in order to be more gentle, more respectful, more accessible, to share, you know, each other, to love, to be more compassionate, you know, to be more active. I was telling, you know, a couple of times ago, months ago, that the activism, you know, protecting Mother Earth, you know, working so hard in the Amazon jungle. I mean, at certain point, I feel so exhausted because, you know, everything, every single stage, every single aspect, every single issue, it's a lot. And and sometimes I felt overwhelmed. I said, okay, I'm done. You know, this is too intense. This is too much. But you know, after every day when I was done with my work and sit with my plants and trees and asking, no, Mother Nature, how we can hold and support each other, how I can be more strong, more grounded, more accessible, more energetic in order to be in service, you know, not only with my people. I mean, for all of us, you know, for you, for my indigenous children, for my family, for myself, for Mother Earth. So I really believe that when we turn on and be in contemplation a little bit, and stand in front of Mother Nature, mountains, trees, oceans, rivers, plants, flowers, birds, even, you know, your beautiful dog or your beautiful cat. It's just contemplating Mother Nature. You know, she can reinforce us a certain point that we need, again, breathing free, you know, calm, and again, you know, align ourselves in order to face the next challenge. This is very challenging right now, dear friends. This is a really very, you know, challenging time. So it's good to keep our focus. It's good to see where our feet are walking on, and especially see inside of us. You know, I do believe that, because if I don't see myself inside, if I am not quite conscious in terms of what's going on inside of myself, how can I serve Mother Earth? How can I serve my people? Impossible. So even that the political activism, to be, you know, in front of the fight and be with my people there and marching with them and talk to the leaders and be with the local governments and go there, etc., etc. It's just, you know, part of the inspiration. But if I keep my whole identity related to my soul, related to my heart, related to my mind, related to my intellectual perspective, with this, you know, profound, incredible, wise indigenous knowledge that I carry inside of me in my DNA, I would say, okay, Eda, it's time to slow down your intellectual mind. It's time to slow down your activism and return to Mother Earth, return to the cave, return to the womb of Mama, Pachamama, you know. And again, every single day when I wake up and see my beautiful mountains out there, it's just listening. All the information that birds, parrots, you know, even dogs are speaking to us. You know, the way that the wind moves on, in what direction comes in and in what direction goes out. And if we are not quite careful in terms of these little, very almost invisible details, we automatically can go to the kitchen and you know, make a juice or make a cup of coffee and then eat your breakfast and then sit down and turn on your computer. But what is the real connection of the life? What is your real connection with yourself if we are just also here the whole time, holding our mind, holding our head, and then be there the whole time? So, but what about the rest of your body? What about your heart? What about your womb? It's just like we need to relearn to listen, you know, the information that our body carries inside of us. And we need to listen, to learn and relearn the lesson of, oh, what is the meaning of this bump, 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 bump in my heart? What is the meaning of this kind of struggling in my intestines? So something is going on, you know, and then we are totally shocked with all of this information about COVID, information about the pandemic, about all of these deaths and politicians and etc. So it is a lot, my dear friends. So I was so grateful. I am so grateful that I was the whole time, you know, in the middle of nature. I was in Tarapoto, out of the town, you know, which is incredible and beautiful, you know, close to the mountains, the cloud forest of the Amazon jungle, and be there. And only a few times, because the emergency in my country, I went and I go to downtown, especially to get connected and get access to internet, you know. And but this coming back and forth helped me a lot, because yes, it is very important to have the consistency of the information that Mother Earth gives to us every single day and every single night. But at the same time, we need to be aware of how this lovely, mysterious, and wise information put in practice out there. How this information can serve me in my proposal to do and be part of a better world. So again, this back and forth, going to the town and back to my mountains, helped me a lot to understand and, you know, getting this kind of straight alignment in my center to and see what is next. So I prepare myself every single day. I just was planning, and I do my plans every single day, whatever the conditions of the weather it is, whatever the conditions of my soul and my state of mind and body, you know, are talking to me. And then confronting the pandemic, and then confronting, you know, COVID-19. So, and especially because for Indigenous people, this is so weird. So what what do you mean, hermana? What do you mean, sister, with COVID-19? What do you mean with this pandemic? You know, we don't understand. What is that? It's just we are walking in our forest, we are working in our lands, we are going, you know, deep into the jungle and hunting and fishing and cutting trees to build our little cabin. But actually, we heard in the radio that the COVID, the pandemic, the emergency, it's just, you know, prohibited us to move, to get out, because it's really dangerous. It's really bad. So we can die. That the COVID can kill us. So can you imagine, dear friends, to walk into these two different worlds and trying to explain them? What is the real meaning of the COVID? What caused the COVID? Why they and us have to keep and be safe at home? So leaders were asking me constantly and say, hey, hermana, hey, sister, you know, we don't know about nothing of COVID. We don't know nothing about what's going on in the town, in Yurimaguas, in the Pongo and Tarapoto. We don't know, we don't understand how all of this radio information is trying to spread out that, oh, COVID, 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 pandemic, pandemic, death, death, death. So I say, okay, this is the right time to do something new and something better, you know. Because before COVID, I was totally engaged with my, you know, time with medicinal plants, you know, be in nature and stay in contemplation and taking my medicinal plants that I do regularly. And then being, you know, by myself and getting all of this inspiration and see what is my next step, even traveling, you know, out of my country. And then boom, the COVID-19. And then boom, the crisis. And then the emergency. And then all of this crazy stuff around. I say, okay, mama, I need to receive the information. I need you. I need to please give me some details, some kind of signs to see what is next. Because at the beginning, like everybody, or I mean, in general, people was totally shocked. Even that I was deep into the jungle, even that I was walking, you know, and contemplate the majestic mountains. But every time when I returned to my cabin, I heard the radio and saying all of these crazy stuff. So at certain point, I felt quite, you know, out of my center. So I said, oh, okay, mama, so what is the point? You know, what is the message that you are telling us? So what is the best way to bring up and out this information that you are trying to say? So please give me some signs. And dear friends, you know, every single day at the beginning of the pandemic, I woke up at 5 a.m., which is totally black in the forest, you know, totally obscurity. You say obscuridad, we say in Spanish, you know, it's just. And I decided to bring my light, my headlamp, or even sometimes when we have this beautiful, wonderful light of the moon, I started to walk with one of my dogs, a wild dog, up into the mountains and stay for a while close to the river, you know, and just stay there. Sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes, sometimes 60 minutes to see and receive the right information to keep up my balance. to keep up my center, to see what is next, to not feel, abandoned, to not feel that we are almost feeling crazy with all of this pandemic. So I asked to them, in the middle of the silence, which is not totally silent, because there are plenty of birds at that time of the morning, because there are plenty of insects and butterflies, flying around and speaking to each other. So I restart, how can I say this? Like I reloaded the information into my heart, into my mind, into myself. Reloaded, every single morning and say, okay. And sometimes I just cross with some crazy dogs barking so loudly and say, bah, 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 get out of here, get over here. Bah, 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 we don't like you, we don't like you. Bah, 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 bah. I said, even with these particular circumstances, I said, okay, what is the message here? What they are trying to say? What is the real message? So do I keep walking up? Do I challenge them? What is the message? Do I talk to them? I did the three ways, it's just, I say, okay, no worries. I do my work. I want to honor Mother Nature, so please be my friend. But sometimes they did and barking so furiously and say, okay, I'm done. I am done with my work. I am not passing your border. I don't want to hurt you. I hear you. Goodbye. And sometimes it's just stay there close to them and look at their eyes and say, what's going on here? I am not your enemy. I am your friend. I need Mother Earth like you need to. I need to walk and breathe and relax my mind and expand my soul and hold my heart and bring all of this serenity that we all need. Let's just stay there. And sometimes in the middle of my walk, it started to raining. It started to raining and just light, a little heavy, more heaviest, and I stay there and listening the sound of Mother Rain, listening to her and say, okay, this is good to know. Yeah, you are refreshing us, but I cannot walk anymore. So I have to wait for you. Okay, I do. And I stay there in the middle of Mother Nature, just waiting and trying to protect, sometimes it's very heavy, the rain. And just asking them, asking the spirits of the forest. Okay, Mama. Okay, Chuyachaki. Okay, Mother Ayahuasca, Mother Guayusa, Mother Coquita. Okay, Master Chirik Sanango. Okay, Master Sanango. What's going on? Please, I need your information. I need your feedback in order to walk according to my values, according to my principles, which is protect you. I am in service to you. And please bring back into myself the balance that I need in order to walk, in order to talk to you, in order to connect with your spirits, and in order to talk to my people and humanity in general. So it was that, habit for 30 days, every single day. It doesn't matter if it was Saturday or Monday or Sunday, it's just the same attitude, the same performance. the same connection. And then a specific, beautiful, and wonderful time with the full moon, with, you know, the mother moon, Mama Luna, Mama Kilia. We say in indigenous language, you know, the Quechua language, Mama Kilia, Madre Luna, Mother Moon. I say, oh, okay, it's just looking at her face in those particular nights that she shows up to us. And be there, you know, just go out in the patio, you know, in the garden, the big garden that I have in front of my cabin, a natural one. And I say, okay, Mama, no, look at, please, let me see your face. Let me see the way that your eyes, your mouth looking at me. Because every single night of these several days, which is full moon, you know, station, has a particular, you know, way of looking at us. If we pay attention, we can see her face. And sometimes, at least from my indigenous perception, she looked at me like a, or sometimes, and sometimes. And I was so attentive with all of these kind of gestures that she has, you know, and again, the other information coming from the sky, coming from the sky, coming from the universe, related to our human existence, coming to us in order to see how we can manage these crises, how we can manage our emotional crisis, how we can manage climate change. Everything changed drastically, even for my people, claiming for, you know, Western medicine, because there are no tons of trees anymore in the Amazon jungle, my dear friends. It's just, it is, you know, besides the pandemic, it is very crazy. It is a real crazy time for the whole world. And the pandemic, of course, stopped us and not mobilized anymore, but stopped in terms of not being passive, if not stop for a while in order to reflect, in order to pay attention, in order to be more sensitive about the ways that Mother Nature is talking to us, the way that we need to reload to see what type of soil is under our feet, and then decide if we continue to walk in that way. If we keep that direction, whatever you decide to keep that direction. So it's not to be passive, it's not to be depressed, it's not to feel crazy or almost abandoned. No, it's just to take a break and breathe slowly and see where I am right now and what is next. We all need to do that. We all need to do that. It's just like several friends of me in Peru said, Eda, Mother Nature is resting a little bit. No more cars, no more tons of people around, no more pollution out there with all of this plastic and garbage. people stay at home almost paralyzed. But then this kind of paralysis was creating a new behavior, which is really dangerous because humans tend to be numbed. So, okay, I don't care. Everything is bad. Everything didn't work. So, okay, I stay here, eat a lot, drink tons of coffee, start to be a big person, almost obese, start to feel depressed, and then I don't care about what's going outside there because I need to stay here. I need to protect my niche. I need to protect my wallet. I need to protect me. So that is insane, dear friends. I know we need to feel healthy, safe enough in order to act, of course. But one thing is me keep myself healthy, but another thing is being totally individualistic and egotistic, which is a lot. In my humble perception, that is one of the really bad behaviors that humans carry in general. So what is next? So we are here to see what is next. I will do my next step. My next is be in community. My next is honor ourselves and be in community and spread out that honor. My next is be active. So I do 3 and put, in practice every single day. So now I would like to take a break, breathe slowly, and invite you to do some comments and see how we can support and enrich each other in terms of this profound knowledge of Mother Nature.
Thank you, Eda. That is so true. At least I wanna share what resonates with me, and it's like, after the initial stages of this pandemic, first we were in shock and surprise. Then we're thinking that it's going to be something that's going to, finish quickly. So at the beginning, we're all really like trying to rest and, and putting, feeling that we're all one, right? In a sense that we're in this together. This is all happening everywhere in the world. There's no distinction of socioeconomic levels, race, nothing. I mean, it's like it can affect any of us. And then slowly, as time goes by, as like our own human nature, there's so many things that we can do, and we disconnect, and we start disconnecting because we're not in community. Sometimes we cannot even go outside. It's great that now the places in nature, we can be there and we can reconnect that way. And at least people are going out now and socializing in nature, and also coming through a stage where, okay, what can we do? And sometimes we don't want to give up. So we go up and down, trying to be active, like you said, stay active in our self-care and stay active in what can I do in this time of crisis to better not only myself, but also my community. So those are key things. I think part of their healing doesn't happen only isolating or in introspection. That is important, and I think that is a first stage. but also that's the next one is being in community, and in community is that we can heal and co-create something better. So thank you for that. If anybody wants to you know, post the comments, please let's post them here in the chat, so then we can unmute you and you can have a, you know, a conversation with Eda, or you can just have a conversation with all of us and let us know your thoughts on this and how you feel about this.
I have a little question too, or maybe just a conversation point. And I really like the idea, the metaphor of the barking dog that you were speaking of earlier. And then how do you sort of discern, is this dog trying to tell me when I'm speaking with nature? Is it saying don't go any farther? Is it saying sit with me and listen? Is it saying, you know, okay, I'm just here to protect you so that you can keep going on, but you have to sort of face your fear? It feels like the emotional state of the world right now is the barking dog. And so how do we know how to engage with that? How do we discern when the moments are that we have to actually sit there with the dog and really be with it and attentive? And when is it that maybe the dog just had, you know, someone was, you know, throwing pebbles at it all day long, and so it's just agitated, you know? So like when we look at nature, I think there's this moment in time where we sort of really have to sort of tap into something. And you were talking about that a little bit, and it sounded like maybe asking more questions was a good way to get there. But I think maybe that's really an interesting kind of dynamic, is given that the state of the world is really in this fear mode right now, understandably so, how do we really sort of discern the messages as they come through because of that? Yeah. And I also like, you know, the other side of that too, what you're saying is the nature is like breathing again. I've seen so many more night animals come out now. So many more birds are coming out and being happy. Like, so there is this other side of things that nature is really kind of rebounding to some degree. So maybe that can be a conversation for later or now or what have you, but basically discernment around messages is the main
Yeah, thank you for your question. Very, very interesting question. And I love dogs like everybody does, you know, it's just, it doesn't matter if they are big, small, medium, wild, domestic. I would say in the Amazon jungle, they are mostly wild, you know, they are by themselves. You don't need to put a leash and, you know, order them and say, hey, stop here, come in, go out. No, they do whatever they want, you know, they manage their lives. But it's very interesting, Larry, your question, because how we can do this discern, like you said, you know. Yeah, discernimiento is in Spanish. It's a very important word, a very important word. How we can discern, especially with Mother Nature, you know, because we are, you know, constantly facing all of this full information coming from outside and modeling, you know, our mind and modeling our way of seeing or looking, you know, so far, or just creating some habits. In my case, I would say that, you know, they can feel the sense of my fear, and they can feel my serenity. When I was a little full time in my mind, you know, trying to figure out and see what is next with my Shawi people, and see how I can convince my local authorities in order to protect them and do something better for them. I was mostly going constantly into my mind in order to get, you know, the coming up results, you know, with my meetings or my phone calls or whatever. I was totally distracted by all of these thoughts. Even no reflection, it's just like a boom, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4 activities, you know, totally distracted into my mind. So even that I was walking and be, you know, with Mother Nature and be out there and walking and see every single detail around, just in case, because the snake, I don't want, you know, her to bite me because it's still, you know, dark, but in my mind. I just pay attention for 1 minute and then, okay, I went back to my mind and said, oh, okay, what, just like a, the beautiful bees do, you know, like a zzz. We say in Spanish, zumbando my mind, you know, zzz. And when I do this, zumbando, especially when we are trying to connect with the wisdom of Mother Nature, I am totally distracted. And when I was totally distracted, especially because the first month was really crazy in Peru. I think every place, you know, but it's just Peruvians who, oh, this is the end of the world. I don't know what is next. My family, my babies, my children, my house, my work, my job, etc., etc. No indigenous people, because they live just there, you know, producing their food in their lands. But dogs can feel and sense your fear. And because that energy doesn't go up and out quite friendly, the wild dogs, I mean, I'm talking about the wild dogs that live up in the mountains. They said, I don't recognize this type of energy. What is this fear? What is this? It's just like something like my fear, my energy of feeling fears, you know, be a little scared about what's going on at that moment. They sense and smell, and they don't like it. They didn't like it, and start to barking furiously as, go out, get out of here. Even they approach to me, even more close and close and close, like encerrándome, you know, like going in this circle. I decided to do, you know, 1, 2, 3 step backs and say, okay, hold on. I'm leaving. I'm sorry, I'm leaving. But other days, when I was more like, more aware of that feeling, I say, oh, hold on, Eda. Just prepare, just be ready. When you start to walk up in the mountain, be careful, not for the dogs. Be careful of being distracted. And release all kind of fears or bad mood or sadness or whatever. You know, it's just release. Just leave that kind of feelings. You know, like shaking you a little bit and move and wait that energy. I mean, symbolically speaking. And then breathe slowly and be totally confident about your energy, your positive energy, your friendly energy, and say, hey, I'm here. Even that they love to bark to everybody, except, you know, their daddy or mom. They like to bark everybody. So I said, okay, I'm okay. Estoy tranquila. Please, treat me well. And they realized that, yes, I was okay. My energy was okay. My energy was totally light. The heaviness of all of these fears and sadness and depression and anguish, we carry a lot of heaviness with those feelings and emotions. Because in our indigenous perspective, energy is very important in order to pass, in order to carry, in order to hold and extend or project. And the other side, I mean, birds, animals, people can sense that. And probably you too, but you know, because the urban areas are totally distracted with all of this stuff around, we don't really pay attention constantly. But in the forest, we do. So it's heavy, you know, all of these dense emotions that we carry inside, in our back, keep in our head, diminish our heart. It's just because we say la maleta es muy pesada, you know, the suitcase is very heavy. And animals sense that, totally. When I was totally distracted because the local authorities didn't pay attention about my Shawi people, I couldn't pay attention to the sounds of the birds. And they sing every single day different sounds with different frequency, with different, you know, message. The vibration goes all on, in, out, up, down, in all of these 360 degrees. So effectively, we are all interconnected. We all are interconnected. But not only in terms of this, you know, human understanding, like we use our vocabulary, you know, to speak loud, you know, to use the logic, you know, of speaking quite well and express or share the information, you know, quite properly. It's just all of these frequencies. The vibration of the voices, not only human voices, the barks, the bird sounds, the butterfly, almost invisible, you know, flying around, the monkeys jumping in 1, 2, or 3 trees, the melody, the frequency, the vibration moving around. We all absorb these. And if we are aware and attentive, our energy goes out and back to them with love and appreciation. So when I was totally calm or almost calm and very, very aware, very present, dogs, okay, they barked 2 minutes and then they, you know, put aside and say, okay, Eda, go, just go. And same with the monkeys, and same with the birds. It's just sometimes when I was a little sad because I was away of my family, only Mother Nature and her wonderful creatures around, it's just, okay, Mama, I am missing something. Yeah, I miss my family, so what? So that makes me feel empty. That human condition creates some sort of be absent. Ausencia. Be absent is another deep issue in human beings. And when we do quite often, we lose tons of information. Tons of information. Dear friends, you know, indigenous knowledge is the information of Mother Nature. That is real indigenous knowledge, is the information of Mother Earth that indigenous people know how to discern. I love that phrase, Larry, you know, to discern. It's very important. But they discern the language, the sounds, the vibration of Mother Nature. So when we take wonderful medicinal plants, when we take master plants that many of you probably did or do, we are in that kind of frequency and synchronicity that we finally, thanks to these master plants, we can tune. We can be part of the universe. We can listen the sounds of the frogs. We can listen the sounds of the bats. We can listen the sounds of the river in a way that our intellectual mind discern. What is this? What it resonates? That particular sound, that particular melody or frequency inside of us. What is the result of that? Well, urban societies, they need to go far away and take master plans in order to get this synchronicity. Because close to urban areas, so much distraction, we cannot discern quite properly. Mm-hmm. Are you following me, dear friends?
Absolutely.
Mm. So yeah, it's not only to having this particular or wonderful moment to take medicinal plants, especially master plants like Mother Ayahuasca, in order to say, oh, okay, finally I understand my real approach to Creator. Ooh, I see these beautiful psychedelic lines and geometry, the sacred geometry, and I see these wonderful and colorful snakes, serpents going on around. I feel so tuned and engaged to my heart. Oh, so lovely to have this sensation. Oh, thank you, Mother Ayahuasca. Thank you, Mama. Okay, yes, thank you. And then what? Do we need to take master plans every single day, every single night, in order to get that synchronicity? In order to get that vibes related to Mother Nature and their wisdom? The wisdom of Mother Nature, the wisdom that our indigenous elders carry? Not at all, my dear friends. We don't need to take every single day, every single night. Indigenous people don't. We have a certain particular time in the year where we can go hiking up and then stay deep into the jungle for 7, 15, 30, 3 months, taking medicinal plants, not only ayahuasca, other master plants, to get that synchronicity, to absorb that information, to verbalize and communicate quite properly with Mother Nature, with the spirits of plant medicine, with the Chuyachakis, with the Sirenitas, with these, melodies that comes during the night and talk to us. that comes in our dreams and talk to us. Those are the spirits of Mother Nature. Those are, the spirits of medicinal plants. They talk to us in a way that we have to be very perceptive, very connected, very present, and totally open. If we are not totally open, we only receive 10, 50% of the information. Yes, of course, it's wonderful to receive 50% of the information, but we can get more. If we are totally open, if we are totally engaged, if we are totally present and hold that energy moving around, in and out and in, and go back and forth for 15 days. And then stay a while in the jungle, in your cabin, not taking more medicinal plants, it's just digesting them. Digesting them. I mean, not only in your physiological body, I mean, digesting in your intellectual mind, digesting in your heart, digesting and bringing light into your soul. And there is the real, connection that we need to talk and take the medicine with the maestros, with the elders, with the healers, with the curanderos, in order to understand quite properly the language, the vocabulary of medicinal plants. And then when el maestro or la maestra, when they leave, our mind softly start to discern and connect this information with my information and create a communion, una comunión, a unity, una unidad. And when we perceive and understand that unity, goes inside and stay in our hearts. The next 15 days, if you decided to stay in your cabin, just in the jungle, go out to make your fire and make your food and feed yourself. Go out to the river and take a shower and take a bath and be in silence with the sounds of nature to receive more information. And that is wonderful because we have time enough to articulate, to discern, to, how do you say tejer, Belito?
Tejer, knit.
To knit.
Mm-hmm. To
knit the information. The information that it will help me to continue my path. The information that it will help me to create a way where I can move forward and be in my next step properly. And for that reason, it's very important to be very careful about the diet. Light, no sugar, little salt, because the elders say, if you are totally clean, without sugar and without salt in your body, the capacity of the plants to heal you is much more enormous. The capacity of these spirits of the plants stay in you and talk to you is the glory. because they will stay with you for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. It's up to you to keep your diet very, 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 you know, I would say a little wild. No sugar, no fruits, no salt, no French fries. It's just very, very simple diet. Yeah, so it's hard. My elders told me, you know, nobody can support and resist 3 months deep into the jungle. And they are right. They are right. It's really hard. And it's hard too when we go back home, because with all of these temptations out there, we tend to forget. But I believe, dear friends, that even that we start to eat a little salt and probably fruits and honey, yeah, spirits can stay there with you a little bit, but not totally, I would say, comfortable to share with you, you know, it's just, but they stay. And every time when you can talk to them, they can come back. And they come back. I trust that. It's just Chuliachakis, you know, Mother Moon, Mother Ocean, Sirenitas. You can see, you know, one of them in your forest if you pay attention. You can be close to them if you pay attention about the bark of your dog, of what's going on there. So after the pandemic, it's just not only be aware here, be present. Be present. Discern. Totally open. Without any struggling and conflicts that fears represent most of the time.